Hey, gang, I want to talk to you for a minute, real quick, about journalism, activism, and law enforcement accountability transparency. So I woke up at 4:30 this morning. It's coming up on 6 o'clock now, but I woke up at 4:30 this morning and snapped awake, and the only thing I could think about was how nationally law enforcement officers continue to try and get people who record the police to go away. They don't want us recording them. And it bugged me so much I couldn't even fall back asleep. So I thought, I'm going to get up and I'm going to talk to the world for a minute. Whoever sees this, talk to you a little bit about journalism, activism, and recording law enforcement for accountability, transparency. It's just on my mind. It's driving me. First of all, journalism, activism. Not all journalists are going to be like Stan the Man or Joe the Blow on the street saying, "Hi, this is Stan the Man from Channel 107 News, Eye on You News. And we're talking about these police officers who are over investigating this scene doing a great job." That's not always going to be how a journalist is. Some journalists are activists. Alex Jones, who many don't agree with, is a journalist, whether you like it or not. And I think he's an activist too, right? But he's definitely a journalist. But he doesn't do journalism in the same way that Eyewitness 7 News anchors do. Journalism comes in many forms, and some forms are in the form of activism. There's different types of activism, but many activists are journalists. It's true. So don't always think when I say I'm a journalist that I'm Stan the Man, giving you the news. Well, you're not acting like a journalist. I'm telling you what's going on. I might be saying, look at this moronic, idiotic cop. Look at this stupid cop. I'm journaling. I'm giving you journalism in its rawest form. I've been trying to do better. I'm trying to do less F-bombs. I don't know why. It's just in my makeup. Like my wife says, I talk like a sailor. Sorry, all you Navy pukes, but but no, I'm trying to do better. I'm trying to. I need more of those interactions. Not that I want or I'm looking for more of those interactions with the police, but I need them to get better. As they say, perfectionism comes with practice. So I have to practice at it, I guess, and get better. But let's talk about law enforcement accountability, transparency. So I thought we were making a difference. I thought that we were, through recording law enforcement like we're doing cop watching, not so much First Amendment audits, but cop watching. I thought that we were making a difference, that law enforcement officers are allowing us to record them. They were making a difference. They're going, hey, okay, guys, recording me. Hey, how you doing? Just keep recording, whatever. Yeah, but in the last few weeks, I found that we're not making as big a difference as I really would like to. And here in 2019, it's only January 4th, and I've already had 2 incidences with police officers that they don't want us recording them up close. Now, when I say up close, I'm not talking about 5 feet away or even 10 feet away where you're right there. I'm talking 30 feet plus away. Far away. They still want us to get back. You know why? Because they want you so far back that if they do something wrong or they violate their policy or they break the law, yeah, cops can break the law on duty, or they do something that is not good public service and they disrespect somebody they're interacting with, we won't be able to record it on our camera in such a manner that someone can watch and go, look what the cop's doing. No, it'll look like Bigfoot or the Yeti or the Loch Ness Monster, where people go, I can't tell what he's doing. What is he doing? What is he saying? I don't know. I can't hear from this distance. I don't know what he's doing. It just looks like the cop's standing there doing something, whatever he's doing. That's why they want us so far back. Because the farther distance between us and them, the less you can see of what they're doing. Now, why is it important for me to see what they're doing? I'm going to give you a few examples here. Well, you just watch my editorials too. If you watch my editorials every day, mostly they're in the morning. But if I'm really busy at work in the morning and I just can't get to a break, the last couple of days I've done them at lunchtime because I just couldn't get free in the morning. But every day, every weekday, I should say, Monday through Friday, I try to do an editorial. And if you watch and listen to those, you'll see that nationally, law enforcement officers are not going with the program. They don't care to be public servants. They care to be law enforcement officers. Now, when I say that, what I mean is they're enforcing law and pushing their authority onto people that are not breaking the law. Law-abiding, constitutionally protected citizens that are just doing a constitutionally protected activity or not violating any laws, not violating any statutes, just standing in public filming, and these officers are enforcing their authority upon these individuals as if they're talking to somebody who's breaking the law. They're overstepping their bounds. Law enforcement officers are there to enforce laws that are being broken, or traffic laws, statutes that are being violated. If you're doing a constitutionally protected activity in a legal fashion, that law enforcement officer has no business with you. His only business is to say hi and go about his other business. But they're not doing that. They're overstepping their bounds. I'm going to try to get through this without sounding like I'm whining, but I have to give you examples so you guys kind of know what I'm talking about. Now, one video was on Christmas Eve 2018, and I forget the name of it, but it's Christmas Eve, and a CHP did a DUI stop and arrest in Highland, California. And I came up and I started filming the CHP. I was about 30 feet away, and that's being conservative with my numbers. It was probably high. I was probably farther than that, but at least a 30-foot distance. And the CHP guy goes, "Can you back up a little for me? Take some steps back." I go, "No, I'm far enough back. I'm like 30 feet. I think I said 20 or 25. That's very conservative. I was farther back than that. But he said, "Well, I don't like people standing behind me." I said, "Well, find another career," which is true. If you're a law enforcement officer and you don't like people behind you, even at a distance, with the camera, then you should probably find another career. You're in the wrong career. This career is not for you. So I told him that, and he went about his business. The Highland Police Department showed up, San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department. They didn't have a problem with me filming. So here you had a mixture. Normally CHP don't care. The CHP are trained on social media and these cop watchers that are going to record you. And from the interactions I've had, they're pretty trained on just, if they're recording you, shut up and let them do it and do about your business. But this one CHP guy, he had to give a directive. I'm a cop. There's somebody. I'll direct him. Go back. No, I'm not going back. And I didn't. I stayed right where I was. Because I was not in the wrong. I was right. I was on a sidewalk in public recording his interactions. You say, why do you have to do that? Who made you God to do that? Because if these officers are going to tell us to get back, if we have a camera, don't come, go back, and we're far enough back already, what other crap are they pulling on people who don't have a camera? I mean, if they're going to make up rules and make up their own little personal, guidelines to someone with a camera, what do they do when there's no cameras around? Makes you think a little. There's a question of integrity there. There's a question of ethics there. So, I mean, New Year's Eve, well, it was New Year's Day, is like 2 a.m. on January 1st this year. There was a traffic collision in Redlands, California. So I go out there, I'm filming across the street. Well, when the tow truck shows up, I cross over. I want to film a profile of the truck going onto the flatbed. Now, mind you, up to this point, police officers have been walking through the grass there back and forth 6-8 times Well, I go over, I don't get in the grass. Well, at the edge of the grass, so I'm not in the street, I'm filming, and this police officer decides he's going to come over and tell me, go back across the street. Well, I don't have to go back across the street. I'm like 30 feet away from that tow truck. I'm not near the tow truck. He's able to do his work. There's nobody here where I'm standing. The city guy is back there about 50 feet cleaning up glass and stuff. And the cop goes, well, you're in our scene. Cross the street. Well, if it's a scene, number one, it's not taped off. Number two, as soon as the tow truck left, the city of Redlands left, the cops left. No investigation. The cops didn't take pictures after the tow truck left. They didn't look at the scene after the tow truck left. They jumped in their car and left. You know why? It was a traffic collision. It wasn't like a murder or a homicide or a shooting. Some person was driving fast, had a blowout or whatever happened to the truck. It knocked the power light over, slammed into a fence, single vehicle collision. They towed the truck. They left. Edison didn't come out with a little flashing light. The city of Redlands didn't stay. No police officer stayed. But yet one officer told me, well, there's a down power line and we're looking out for your safety. Is that why the police officers are walking back and forth through the grass there? Because there's a down power line? What is that like? Are you guys some type of daredevils? You jump over hot power lines? No, he was lying to me, trying to justify his partner overstepping his bounds by telling me go across the street. We don't want you filming here. When I asked for his name and badge number, he got in my face with his hand, and then I just put him in his place, and he walked away. My point is, we're not making as big a difference as I really thought we were. I thought we were making grounds that officers would allow us to film, and they're not wanting us to record up close. They want to give directives. They have to give directives. I've got to tell this guy something. I know what I'll tell him. Go across the street. Him at PD last night. I'm walking. I go across the crosswalk. Now, where I'm at, there's a little dirt area next to the sidewalk. It's a city area. It's public property. It's there publicly in the city. There's a no trespass sign a little distance back for, I think it's a historic museum there or something to that effect. But I'm on, so the sign is here and then all the business and everything over here. I'm on this side of the sign in a public area of the city by the sidewalk. Well, this cop decides to come over and tell me, can you go back? Go back. I said, no, I'm not going to go back. I'm like 50 feet away and the Supreme Court has already ruled on it. And he starts getting in my face and puts a flashlight in my camera and starts barking orders and saying, well, you're trespassing. Look at that sign. Well, I'm on this side of the sign. So I'm not trespassing. I want to give you guys something, especially you Californians, a little note here. When you have a trespassing sign, that sign is for any area behind that sign. If you're in front of the sign, you're not trespassing. It's only when you go past that sign into that area. Well, I'm not past the sign. I'm in front of it in a public area of the city. And number two, that cop has no right to tell me I'm trespassing. The business has to complain and say he's trespassing on our property. That police officer overstepped his bounds. The sergeant came over and justified it. And both of them started hitting me with their flashlights to try to keep me from filming the people that were seated on the curb as they were rummaging through their car. And what's funny is the people on the curb started saying, these are our friends. Stop harassing them. They're not harassing us. No, usually your friends do tell you to sit on a curb because they want to rummage through your car while you sit there on the curb. Yeah, friends do that. Yeah, that's not harassment to make you sit on the curb at 11 o'clock at night while they dig through your car. That's not harassment, is it? Ah. But I digress. My point is that, and I'm going to get back to that in a second too. My point is that I'm finding, and I'm now, for some reason, I'm finding it more frequently, and I don't know why, that there are law enforcement officers out there that do not want us recording them. Their biggest directive, get back, go away, get out of Zoom distance. That's what they want. Because they're afraid that their police lieutenant or their captain or their police chief or the sheriff or whoever else is in management will see our video and go, hey, look what you did right here. We need to talk about that. They don't want that. They want their management to go, I don't know what he's doing. I can't tell in that video. It looks like he's doing his job. No. We're going to get up there and we're going to record you, law enforcement officers. And if you do not like it, choose another career, because we're not going away. We're not going to harm you. We don't have any intent to harm you. We're not going to injure you or threaten you. We're simply documenting what you're doing, because there are those of you in the ranks that cannot, for some reason, be public servants with respect and dignity and have ethics and have integrity. You have to get out there and violate the policies and violate people's rights and commit disrespect to the public that you're there to serve. That's why we're recording you, because you just can't help yourself. You have to give directives. You have to enforce laws that aren't being broken. You're making up. That means you're making up crap. You have to bend the rules for your own personal reasons to keep us from recording you. Oh, you can record. Yeah, far enough away to where people don't know what the hell you're doing. They're doing something over there. No, we're going to be 20 to 30 feet away, and we're going to see what you're doing, and we're going to document it. And if you're doing something that's in violation of your policy, department policy, or California Post policy, or federal law, we're going to capture that on video, and you are going to be held accountable through video. There you go, right there. Through video, you're going to be held accountable. And if you don't like it, choose another career. Because we're not going away. So I want to speak to all of you out there that think the police officers are your friends, that think law enforcement officers are your buddies. They're my buds, like those guys said that were seated on the curb while the cops went through their car. Well, these are our friends. Shit, with friends like that, who needs enemies? So I want to tell all of you out there, they're not your friends. They're not. There is no way they can be friendly to you, because the moment they're about to do something dirty, they want you to back up. We don't want you zooming in and watching us, because then there's no transparency. Because then there's transparency. Yeah, that's what I mean to say. Then we're accountable to our actions. We don't want to be accountable to our actions. So back up. Get out of zoom distance so you don't know what we're doing. So all of you out there, if you have an interaction with a police officer, please get your phone out and start recording and say, I'm documenting this for my own personal records. If you see the police somewhere and you're able to pull over and get out of your car, or you're able to park somewhere and walk back down, please do that and record the police while you see them stop there for accountability. I'm urging every American citizen out there, and even people that aren't American citizens, if you're a legal permanent resident, grab your camera and record them. I'm not saying you have to go out and cop watch and look for them, but if you're driving by and you see police interaction and you're able to, you're just driving and you have 10 or 15 minutes free time, pull over, get out, go over there with your camera and film them. Put it on YouTube or Facebook. Let people know if they're doing a good job, you're doing them a favor. If they're doing a bad job and they're being disrespectful and they're not giving good public service, you are letting people know what's going on. You're exposing that police department's dirty cops. I really thought him at police department was coming along. I thought, they're getting kind of boring. Everybody's saying hi, but I guess I got some work to do there, because there's at least one sergeant who trains his officers to keep us from recording what they're doing. Now, you heard a couple of times where they said, okay, you're good right there, but they kept the flashlight in my camera. Oh, you're good right there. I'm going to keep the light in your camera so that you can't see what we're doing. But I've got an iPhone 8 Plus, and it filters light out so that it captures what's going on around the light. For those who wondered where my mirror was, you couldn't see it off behind my camera, but I put my hand in my pocket to pull my mirror out, and I didn't have it. And I said, oh, where did it go? It's right here on the dryer. It's at home on my dryer. Great place for it, right? I had the mind to get my boss hat, but then that would have meant I had to leave And they would have said, there he goes, good, we ran him off, so I stood my ground. But always film the police. Some might say, well, they told you were good right there. Yeah, but they kept the light in my camera because they did not want me recording what they were doing, because they knew. I don't say they knew. I don't have, is it ESP? I'm not clairvoyant. But there's something about that interaction that they were doing something they knew they shouldn't have been doing. Something was not right about that traffic stop. And that's why they didn't want me recording it. Because they didn't want me recording them going through that car. So everybody out there, I'm urging you, if you see the police and you have some free time, pull over, get out and record them. If they come up to you and they, hey, come here, I need to talk to you, start recording. They say, what are you doing? Turn that off. No, this is I'm documenting for my own personal records. That's the quote I want you all to use. I'm documenting for my own personal records. You tell them, you have a body camera, you can document. I'm documenting too. Because if you shut that body camera off and say some stuff you shouldn't, or if you decide you're going to edit your body camera, I'm going to have a camera footage also. Because you tell them every story has 3 sides: your version, my version, and what really happened. Okay, it's not 2 sides, what you say and what really happened. It's your version, my version, and what really happened. And with me, I'm going to tell you this. This might sound arrogant. I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't. I hope it doesn't. But it might sound arrogant. With my version, it's always going to be the truth. I make mistakes. I might be wrong sometimes, but it's not intentional. I'm not perfect. Nobody is. But my intention is to always be honest, to always be transparent, to let everybody know this is what's going on. I don't make stuff up so the cops look bad. I don't make stuff up to make the cops look dirty. You guys do that on your own. I am always going to have integrity. I'm always going to be honest. I'm always going to say this is what happened. If you did a good job, I'll say they did a great job, professional. If you did a bad job, it's going on video. But I always try to be as honest as I can and never lie. My intentions are to never lie or never be dishonest. When I say sometimes I'm wrong, I might see an officer do something and say, well, he's doing this, and maybe what I saw isn't exactly what I thought I saw. Does that make sense? So I might be a little wrong sometimes. None of us are perfect. But I'm not going to intentionally see something and then intentionally lie about it just to make the cop look bad. I will never do that. I consider myself an accountability activist. And if I'm not accountable to me first, how the hell am I going to hold anybody else accountable? So I'm always going to try to be as honest as totally possible. Well, I'm going to be honest as totally possible, but I'm never going to be dishonest. Let's put it that way. But if I say something or do something that's wrong, let me know. Like, guys, you shouldn't have did that. I'll try to work on it. I am trying to work on my language. My wife says I talk like a sailor. Sorry, you Navy pukes. I think I already said that. I've done a few takes of this, but I need to close it. You guys, thank you if you're still watching for 23 minutes. God bless you. News Now Yucaipa, and remember, always, always record the police. We may have made a dent, guys, but we're not making progress. We're not. It's becoming a you versus me, and us versus them. And we need to stay out there. We do not need to go away right now. Thank you, guys.